Shout out to each and every one of you. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. You know, when Wilder spoke to Radio Raheem, he wasn't trying to be he wasn't trying to be insulting, and he definitely wasn't trying to be uh, he wasn't trying to intimidate Radio Raheem. He actually was talking from his heart about everybody know what he talking about. Not everybody. I mean, some white people don't know what oppression is. He was talking from a perspective of the poor in spirit, talking from the perspective of those people who are oppressed. And even to this day, if you're a person of color, I don't care what color you are seen by people who may be white as inferior to them. Just because of your skin color. It's one of the stupidest things. And where racism is a dumb thing, racism is ingrained. Even people of color look down at other people of color because they're programmed to think that other people of color shouldn't do such and certain things. In my country, in the banking sector, you as a black person, you had to cut your hair low. You can have your hair growing long. White people, they can grow their hair long. They got the pigmentation. You know, you know, to this day, it's ridiculous. But to this day, it doesn't matter how much money you have as a black person. If you're driving in the United States of America, you get profiled. You go into a store in the United States of America, you get profiled. They follow you, because they think you're going to steal something. It's just what it is. Black is still associated with evil for reasons unknown to me. Black Friday and, uh, you know, a lot of black, it's one of the weirdest things where black is pertaining to bad. Like bad is immediately associated with black. And it hasn't changed much. We're still struggling. You see the derogatory comments about black people done by the president of the United States and his cabinet. And there is even legislature put in place to prevent people of color from entering the United States of America. They're considered terrorists. In fact, just very recently, there a white man committed an act of terrorism. If you don't forget, I mean, he committed a tremendous act of terrorism. They would refuse to use that word terrorism, right? They refuse to. So when Deontay Wilder talks, I mean, on a daily basis, black people are prejudiced on a daily basis in the United States of America, especially. I'm in a country where most of my people in my country are black or they're colored. So I'm a free black person. I don't get profiled by the police. Police don't follow me wherever I go. People don't look at me a certain way. People don't move to the other side of the street when I'm walking down the street. They call me red man in my country. I'm not red. I'm black. But, I'm called reds. And, it's different. It's different. When you live amongst people who are not prejudiced, you don't have to look over your shoulder. You're driving a nice car. You don't have to worry about police stopping you. You have nice stuff, clothing, and so on. You got some wealth. They're not looking at you funny in the neighborhood when you move in, or calling the police on you, or you getting brutalized by the police for just simply questioning something, or you just get called. The police just call up on you because you're identified as a suspect in something. These are the kinds of atrocities that happen. I mean, it just happens. And there's a lot of also police officers, way too many in the United States of America, who are racist, and they actually commit racist acts. There are cops who have killed people, murdered people just because they're racist and they decided to break down the quotas. A lot of things happen in the United States of America in universities and places where there's racism, and it's systematic racism. And they work their programs to make sure that, black students who have gotten, they've gotten, what do you call these things? Like scholarships, but they're not scholarships. They call it by another name. These kids lose their scholarships and stuff. You have to understand, man, that when Deontay Wilder talks, man, he know what he's saying. All right. But Radio Raheem's question was a valid one. He was like, what do you mean by 400 years of fighting? Deontay Wilder was talking about emotional and mental, spiritual fighting that black people have to go through, and they still travail. Tyson Fury wasn't referring to that. He was literally talking about boxing. Like, he comes from 200 years. He comes from a gypsy tribe of travelers, and he literally traveled to the United States, and he traveled to Germany. And the gypsies, literally, that's what they do. They fight. They're a fighting group of people that travel all around the world. They literally fight. That's what they do. It's not mental fighting. It's not spiritual fighting. It's not street fighting like, Deontay Wilder, you scrap in the street, in the ghettos or whatever. You box or scrap in the street. He's not talking about that. He's talking about real fights. Real fights, like trained in boxing, straight up fighting all the time. And they did it their entire lives. As Tyson Fury grew up as a boxer from the womb, he been fighting, he been boxing. That's what Tyson Fury is talking about. It's like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was born boxing, okay, trained to be a boxer. Now Deontay Wilder don't know nothing about that, and that's what Deontay Wilder doesn't get. I feel him with the 400 years of oppression and still trying to fight out through it. I understand what he's saying, but that's not what you're going to have to deal with inside that ring. You're perceiving that when you beat Tyson Fury, they're going to say bad things about you still. I get that. But that's not what Tyson Fury was talking to you about. And that's not the response you should have given. That's what I'm trying to say. Tyson Fury was talking about, you ain't going to beat me because I've been doing this my entire life. I was born to do this. Nobody's ever beaten me. I'm that dude. That's what Tyson Fury was telling him. Deontay Wilder's talking about coming out of oppression. We still fighting. That's not the point. You still fighting. That means you haven't overcome and you don't beat nobody, which means you're going to get overcome by Tyson Fury, which is what Tyson Fury basically got in his head. That's why Deontay Wilder was recapping everything Tyson Fury said, because Tyson Fury's all up in his head. But Tyson Fury also is saying to him, look, dude, you got to understand. I've been doing this my entire life. I understand the ins and outs of this in ways you just don't understand. That's what Tyson Fury basically was breaking down to Deontay Wilder. And I think Deontay Wilder, he tried to take it, emotionally and personally as if it's a struggle and if it's a black thing. This is not a black thing that Tyson Fury is talking about. He just dropping the fact. Look, dude, I got a 200-year history. Got 200-year history of folk just be beating the crap out of each other. I come from a tribe of people who that's what they do. And not MMA, boxing. 200 years of boxing. That's what I got behind me. That's what Tyson Fury is basically saying. I got 200 years of boxing behind me. The gypsies. That's what we do. Okay? And modern boxing, that is. And Wilder don't get what Tyson Fury is saying. The knowledge Tyson Fury got up here, Wilder don't got that. That's what Tyson Fury is saying to him. That's why you can't beat him. And that's what Wilder doesn't get. There's a difference between coming from a high pedigree family of boxers. Floyd Mayweather came from 2 generations of boxers. 2 generations of boxers. That's why he's so good. And Tyson Fury is breaking that down to Wilder. I come from hundreds of years of generations of boxers. You're not going to beat me. That's what Tyson Fury is saying. Wilder never addressed that. He's talking 400 years of fighting. Who cares? 400 years of fighting. What does that have to do with when we get into square circle? Nothing. You understand? Mikey Garcia comes from 2nd generation of boxers. Whole family, world champions, stuff like that. Wilder, he's being trained by a world champion, but he didn't come from generations of boxers. A while be talking about generations of my forefathers, Nigerians, and that's cool. That's all well and good, but did they teach you anything? No. It's different. It's good to know you from a good stock of people, but that has nothing to do with what's going to happen in the ring. And that's what Tyson Fury is trying to explain to him. So when Radio Raheem asked him the question, 400 years of fighting, what does that mean? He was meaning, well, how is that a response to what Tyson Fury told you? So Radio Raheem actually asked a credible question, which I think my boy Deontay Wilder, who is so wired up, didn't realize. I don't think he even understands what Tyson Fury said yet. I don't think he understands it factored into his head what Tyson Fury told him. Tyson Fury is like, you can't beat me, bro. I'll tell you why. Because I come from generations of boxers. That ain't happening. I've never been beaten. And for Wilder now, Wilder is saying, well, I'm still in the struggle for 400 years. My people been fighting. What does that have to do with anything? This has to do with me and you in a ring. Tyson Fury and Wilder, we're going to be in the ring. It ain't going to be 400 generations of people that been fighting the struggle of slavery and to overcome. No, that ain't going to happen. It's going to be me and you inside the ring. That's that. And that's what he doesn't get. So Tyson Fury is telling him, dude, I got plenty of this for this fight. That's what you do. He didn't get it. So kind of went over his head. So that's why Radio Raheem was asking him, well, what does 400 years of fighting mean? What do you mean by that? How's that an answer to what Tyson Fury was saying? And Wilder's like, well, what don't need to be said, don't need to be said. And it's like, okay, how does 400 years of fighting and struggling as black people in America equate to 200 years of boxing and boxing knowledge and experience and know-how? How's that the same? And you didn't overcome, so these guys overcome. So how that make you beat Tyson Fury? Trying to understand what you're saying. You know, I think he kind of went off topic. He said Wilder was dealing with, when I beat you, I'm not going to get the credit I deserve. I think that's what he's trying to say. Whereas Fury's saying, you're not going to beat me. And I told you why. You know, so that's it. I like that both guys are very confident. And I heard Wilder say, well, Fury ain't knocked out nobody. I don't think Wilder understands what he's going to be facing in that ring, and it bothers me a little bit because he's underestimating a lot of things that Tyson Fury has. I hope he reflects on it. And because, hey, man, Steve Cunningham dropped Tyson Fury. You got dropped by what's the guy's name? Garvin something. All right, you got dropped. Tyson Fury got dropped. Anybody can drop anybody in the heavyweight division if you get hit right. So please do not underestimate Tyson Fury. And as I said before, I believe Tyson Fury is going to walk to Deontay Wilder. He's not afraid of him. He's going to walk to him. And he's going to walk to Deontay Wilder, and he's going to break him down, and he's going to attack Deontay Wilder. I think Wilder is expecting Tyson Fury to box and move and use his jab. I'm listening to everybody thinking that Tyson Fury going to walk and box and move. He'll do it at some point in the fight. But I don't expect him to do that in the opening bell. I expect him to want to dictate how this fight will go about. Now, he may not do that. He may actually let Wilder chase him around the ring a little bit and then walk to him after. But I expect Tyson Fury to walk to Wilder at some point in this fight. He's going to walk to him early in the fight. He's going to walk to him and start breaking him down. Wilder's going to try and use his jab to stay off of Fury. Fury got a longer jab. And they're talking about Wilder breaking down Fury from the outside. It's not going to happen. He don't have the reach to do it. So it's not going to happen. He's going to have to get on the inside to fight Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury will give him the opportunity to fight on the inside. I hope Wilder's really sparked up his inside game. That's what he needs to do. He needs to be very good at his inside game. If he's not, he ain't ready for Fury. He's not going to be ready for Fury. And that's not going to be a good sign. Okay? So I'm just saying some things. You heard it from What You Need. What You Need been telling you guys some stuff. Pay attention to what I was saying, because I think that, you know, when you're dealing with a guy like Fury or Huey Fury or any one of the Furies, Huey Fury is more on the outside kind of thing. He gets caught with right hooks. Tyson doesn't. Tyson rolls those stuff. He rolls punches a lot. He rides punches a lot. He does a lot of things. So I don't care how powerful Deontay Wilder thinks he is, unless he catches Tyson Fury flush, Fury's just going to roll his punches. Take all the steam off of it. Defense. It's called defense. I don't think Fury's going to tire. So that's the thing that Wilder will be counting on, Fury to tire. You know, and Wilder can come out throwing a barrage of punches. A guy with defense knows how to offset those things. The problem is a guy with defense can also, in between the punches, counter punch. So, I mean, I'm just saying. So you guys will understand this is boxing. This is not strawman contest. This is not how to knock down a tree. Okay? I think a lot of you guys don't understand that. Lifted One says, I don't think it went over his head at all. It went clear over his head because his response never responded to what Tyson Fury was saying. Lifted One, I guess Fury calling Wilder a boy means nothing as well. Shoot. Fury could call Wilder anything. He called him he called him a boy. He called him what do you call him, boy? The word is he called him I can't remember. He called him a certain name, Bullock or something like that. Bullock or something like that. This the one. Both men fought in their past, so we shouldn't condemn one and not the other. Man, you real biased towards Deontay Wilder, boy. You biased. Like you just defending Deontay for no reason, dude. Look, man, Lifter one. Listen to this, all right? Or Lift 1-1 or whatever. Listen to this, homie. I am telling you stuff for Deontay to think about. I hope he gets this message so that he doesn't underestimate Fury. He's walking in talking about Fury ain't got no punch. That's the stupidest thing to say going into a fight. You never underestimate your opponent. I don't care if they seem like they tap like a little fluffy pillow. You don't underestimate them. Okay? Sergio Mora knocked down Danny Jacobs. Okay? So you cannot be reckless in there. And if he thinks he's going to just go in there and box Fury and knock him out, he's wrong. It's not going to work like that. It's going to be chess, and those guys are going to adapt to one another. And I'm telling you so you will know, Fury is no joke. Now, honestly speaking, I don't expect anybody to knock out anybody in this fight. I've said it before. I say it again. It's possible this fight may end up being a draw. It's possible this fight may be a split decision win. It's that close. It's one of those really good fights. I think Wilder is a much better boxer than people give him credit for. I think he has a really good jab, a nice, sharp, quick, jab. He's very sharp with his jab. I think he has a nice little swivel. I think he tries to jab off of angles, not necessarily in foot angles, but in terms of how his body is leaned a certain way to throw a jab. But he's not perfect at them. Everything he gets, he still gets tapped. He still gets hit. Even when he goes to jab to the pit, he gets tapped in the head. Guys can counter him in the head. Now, why this is all important is because you can see Wilder trying to execute certain things, and he's getting better at it. Fury, on the other hand, he's sloppy at times. He's not as sharp as Wilder, but he's a big man. He's quick. He's a big man. For me, you telling me a guy 6'9" with a hand that looks like a hammer, bigger than my hand, almost twice the size of my hand. You telling me he doesn't hit hard? Are you crazy? You don't say that kind of stupid stuff, man. So Wilder need to calm himself down, think about what he has to face. Fury has already gotten in his head. He needs to calm himself down. All this talk about the history of people persecuted. Well, if you ain't come out from under that persecution by now, Fury gonna whoop your tail because you always feel oppressed. So Fury easily got into Wilder's head because Wilder feel like they struggle in a struggle. I understand it is a struggle, okay? But you gotta make sure first of all you beat Tyson Fury, get the job done, which means you have to be calm, keep your composure, like Floyd Mayweather would say. One thing about Floyd Mayweather used to get into other people's heads, and he never used to use intimidation. What Wilder's using is something that Mike Tyson used to do. He used to try and intimidate his opponents. Tyson Fury ain't gonna go for that. Tyson Fury don't know what it is to lose. Tyson Fury is just like Deontay Wilder. He's always been counted out. He's always been considered criminal number one. He's always been considered villain number one. People went in on Fury after he beat Vladimir Klitschko. Fury went down into Germany, whooped Vladimir Klitschko's butt, came back to Britain, and people were bad talking Fury. Think about that. So Fury knows what it is to be public enemy number one. Okay? That's what you are forgetting. Just because he's a white dude doesn't mean that Tyson Fury has had it nice and everything. He's always had favor with people. No. And people will say it's the Floyd Mayweather kind of effect where, he made enemies because he said outlandish and crazy things. All right. Whether he racist or not, that's besides the point. We're looking at boxing right now. Boxing, not about social justice and all that stuff. That's all cool and well and good, to talk about. But at this point, this is boxing we're talking about. And Tyson Fury, when it comes to boxing, I can tell you for a fact has proven himself to be a better boxer than Deontay Wilder. So when you're looking at these boxers and what they're doing in the sport of boxing, you got to understand what it is that Tyson Fury is bringing to the table. what it is Deontay Wilder's bringing to the table. And don't get me wrong. Wilder has proven time and time again. Let me just tell you this. Deontay Wilder has always been seen by me. I've always been a fair guy as an excellent boxer. You can't go and win no bronze. You can't go win no bronze medal in no Olympics, and you ain't got the fundamentals of boxing behind you. People always say Wilder's wild and stuff. No, he boxes, and he boxes very well. He got a strong jab. He got strong punching skills. So a lot of times he get rid of his opponents. As he started to face opponents on his level, like Bermane Stiverne, etc., you saw him take longer time to get rid of those guys, right? So my point being, Luis Ortiz, a very feared and shunned opponent by many, he beat that dude fair and square. Ortiz got him in trouble, but he wasn't really in trouble. He was buzzed, but he wasn't in trouble. I saw him walk back to the corner and everything. He was buzzed. We saw him get buzzed a couple times, but he's strong. He's big. He's strong. But in this case, when you think of a guy on the level of Tyson Fury, a lot of people are counting on things like Fury will be tired. He lost a lot of weight. He'd be rusty because he hasn't fought. You can't watch a Tyson Fury based on the 2 fights he had. Them was 2 tune-up fights. That's all he wanted. All right? You look at the 2 fights Tyson Fury had against higher-level opponents before Klitschko. Nobody thought Tyson Fury would beat Klitschko. I didn't think Tyson Fury would beat Klitschko. Here we are again, thinking that Tyson Fury is going to get knocked out by Deontay Wilder. That's the same thing everybody said about when he faced Klitschko, that he was going to get knocked out by Klitschko. He didn't get knocked out by Klitschko. All right? And I do believe on this occasion, he's not going to get knocked out by Deontay Wilder. You roll in punches, you take the steam off the punch, Wilder can't do you nothing. And Wilder can jump around opponents and stuff when they stay in stationary. Tyson Fury is not a stationary guy. You're not going to freeze up Tyson Fury. So I don't see any way lifted one how Deontay Wilder is going to knock out Tyson Fury. I just don't see it. And the fact that Deontay Wilder keep on stressing on knockouts, you better know what you're doing, Deontay Wilder. You better be talking about knockout, but not going for one. Because the moment you go for a knockout on Tyson Fury, you are going to get knocked out. I guarantee you that. This is not an opponent you go playing around like that. You guys can either go play chess. And it's chess, not checkers in this game. And you're going to have to adjust. Wilder going to have to adjust, and you got to adjust quick. Because Fury, if he gets Wilder in trouble, he going to finish him. Wilder, if he gets Fury in trouble, he going to finish him. That's what we're looking at. It's going to be a nice, good, strong game of chess in which I truly believe both guys are going to adjust to one another as the fight goes along. And I truly believe that as much as Wilder's going to realize Fury's a very tough guy and can take his punch. That's the first thing he's going to realize. Okay? So he needs to understand that he's in there with somebody who is going to give him a hard time. The second thing, both Wilder and Fury, and I'm glad they both, and that's why Wilder behaving so crazy and stuff. He behaving crazy because he knows this is not the same as Luis Ortiz. This opponent that he's about to face does not fear him one bit. But in addition to that, is also already dictating what's happening by manipulating his emotions. He's saying certain things to him that makes Wilder laugh. I remember when Fury told him something and Wilder had to chuckle because Wilder realized, okay, you see through my intimidation, right? And so you got to understand, and Wilder's a very smart guy. Don't get it wrong either. Wilder's clever as well. And how he sets up his knockouts and how he sets up his fights is very clever. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, this is not going to be no barn burner where you just seeing 2 guys going at it all the time. This is going to be chess. Wilder's not just going to step in there on Fury. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. Fury is not going to just step in there on Wilder. But what is going to be weird is seeing Fury walking down Wilder. Y'all ain't going to expect that, but y'all going to see that in this fight. You're going to see Fury walk down Wilder and come at him and have some success. Then Wilder's going to try and turn that table, and he's going to try and use his jab, and he's going to try and find a way to get in on Fury. Then Wilder's going to have to do something he doesn't do all the time, which is fight on the inside. I'm telling you, man, because these guys, what they do, especially Fury, he makes you do things you're not comfortable doing. He's going to try and make Wilder do things, resort to things that hopefully Wilder has been training to do. Hopefully Wilder has an all-round game, because this is very important. Fury going to make Wilder try and get to the inside. He's going to test out Wilder's inside fighting skills. He's going to test it out. Wilder's always comfortable fighting from a distance, fighting from the outside. Fury's going to say, oh, that's your comfort zone. I'm gonna take that from you. I'm gonna fight you on the inside. So that's the kind of stuff that you're looking at in this fight. Thank you. And you have to understand this is what is the issue here. You can't just only be doing one thing. A great boxer or a good boxer forces you to do things you're not comfortable doing. And that's the problem. That's the problem with this fight. And Wilder's going to have to make the adjustments and make sure he can fight on the inside. I know he can fight on the inside. I've seen him fight on the inside. So he has it in this game, right? But Fury's going to test him out different ways. And Fury's already dictating this fight before the fight even starts. He got Wilder pissed off, and Wilder being expending a whole set of energy, and Fury's fueling that fire by teasing him, and egging him on. Fury's already starting to dictate what is happening in this fight, and you guys don't even see that. He did it, same thing with Klitschko. Okay? So the Klitschko, when he got in the ring, Klitschko was eager to come after him. The difference is Fury going to do something to Wilder that going to make Wilder get a little scared. That is, he going to walk to Wilder, and then he's going to make sure he lands something on Wilder. He wants Wilder to know from the get-go, you think I'm a pillow puncher? Okay, feel this. Now make Wilder from the get-go realize, hey, if I really want to walk in on this guy, I might feel something really bad. All right? And it's going to make Wilder a little bit more cautious as he goes in. Because if you go in reckless abandon, he's going to get knocked out. I'm telling you guys, this is not as simple as you can see. This is not a simple fight. That does not mean, ladies and gentlemen, that Wilder will not get in on Fury, will not do certain things in this fight, may even get some really nice crunching shots in on Fury's body especially, and make Fury really start to pay, and this fight won't get more even now. It doesn't mean that, because Wilder learns things as he moves along. He's a smart fighter. He's not stupid. But what I'm saying is that, you know, a lot of people are saying, oh, Fury going to get knocked out in the 8th round. That is not happening. Fury's going to get knocked out in the 9th or the 10th. That's not happening. Wilder, and everybody feels Wilder has to win this fight by KO. No, he doesn't. He can win it by points as well. And that's the thing that people don't understand. Wilder boxes good enough that this fight could end up being won on points. You never know. He may drop Fury. You never know. They both got dropped before. What's to stop them from getting dropped again? So all I'm saying is that it's not as simple as it seems. And a lot of people are thinking this is a fantastic fight. And people are going to see that soon enough. But because people are so partisan and they feel, oh, I got to back this black guy because he's Wilder and he's American, and American black boxers never get, you know, they don't get treated well and stuff like that. I understand, especially with Wilder. Wilder has been misjudged a number of times. This is not a walk in the park for Tyson Fury. This is not. Wilder is at a point where he has gotten really good. He's getting better and better. He's like Canelo Alvarez. He's getting better and better and more unbeatable. All right. If this was 2-3 years in the future where Tyson Fury hadn't boxed at all, this would be a different fight. This is not the case. Tyson Fury's been off since 2015. He's here 2018, which is about 3 years ago. But Tyson Fury, just like Floyd Mayweather, just like Sugar Ray Leonard, just like, I mean, the many guys that are retired, even Sugar Ray Roberts, all these guys are retired. Your Muhammad Ali, all these guys that retired and came back. These guys, they got heart, they got chin, they got everything. I'm not saying that Wilder wouldn't win this fight. I can't say that. He may win on points. All right? Tyson Fury may be like Muhammad Ali. He might get dropped. Maybe the difference in this fight is that Tyson Fury got dropped. Who knows? Maybe the difference is that Wilder got dropped and Tyson Fury wins the fight because he dropped Wilder. But I don't expect this fight to be a runaway for either fighter. I don't expect it. And I don't expect it to be boring. I expect this to be a real fight. This is going to be one that you guys are going to remember for a long time. That's what I'm saying all the time. I favor Fury to win because I just know he has a lot of tools in his toolbox. But it doesn't mean that Tyson Fury will win. I favor him to win. This fight could end up at the end of the day being a spectacular fight that ends as a draw. It could be a fight that's a spectacular fight that Wilder gets the split decision win. You know, it could be a fight where, you know, Wilder gets the unanimous decision win, even though the fight was a lot closer than that. So, you know, there's all these things, these variables that can come about. But I can tell you this, no boxer crosses the sea to lose or to just collect a paycheck. You look at James DeGale, crossed the seas numerous times, beat opponents. Badu Jack crossed the seas, fought opponents, and beat them. Come on now. You think about Tyson Fury's any different and from a different cloth of these guys? James DeGale, Badu Jack. Hold on, people. Even Kell Brook crossed the seas and beat Sean Porter. I'm just saying, you ain't gonna cross no seas just to get beaten. Come on now. Anyways, I'm out because family be calling me. I want you guys to have a great one. All right.